everybody. Welcome back. I am B.Spriggs of Bright and Brave Enterprises LLC, and welcome to Activate July. We are on our third episode. I'm so excited. One second. If you guys do hear any type of noise in the background, excuse me. I got a lot of kids with me on top of my own kids, so it's very fun. And this is the life of a mompreneur, so just bear with me with the sound in the background. But yeah, welcome to Activate July. This season we are talking about babe care, and babe care is a fancy way to say, how do you take care of yourself to execute business, and why is self-care so important as an entrepreneur? So we're sitting right here with Miss Mariah Street. I'll let her introduce herself and I'll mute my mic. But yeah, we'll let her introduce herself and then we'll get right into the interview.
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Mariah Street. I am the CEO and founder, managing attorney of Legacy Street Law. It is an in North Carolina based law firm. It's boutique. And we primarily serve corporations, small business owners, and their families to help them establish their legacy, really. And that comes in the form of strategic business planning, legal business planning, as well as legacy planning for their families. So that is a little bit about me. I also am a speaker. I've spoken at a number of conferences, universities, and things like that on the topics that I practice, in my law firm. So that is always fun as well. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Yay! Thank you, Mariah. Very talented. And a little backstory about Mariah. We met at the Kingdom concert with Maverick City and Kirk Franklin, and we just vibed so much. Like, honestly, Mariah, and that time I spent with you, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I was spending time with my sister.
We
were just talking,
so
relating, talking about the word, and it was just so great to kind of like be myself, in full completion with someone. So I really enjoyed that. And so yeah, I was like, hey, you do law for entrepreneurs. Can you come sit down and talk to us and kind of give us some of your expertise or talk about self-care? So Mariah agreed to it, and here we are. So Mariah, we'll go right into the interview talking about the entrepreneurial mindset. All right, so what have you been doing, or what do you do in order to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset?
Ooh, okay. The main thing I would say for this is that I never stop learning. So I am the person that I've always been what they call a student of life. I am that person. So I'm going to be the one that's listening to an audiobook, or I'm reading a physical book, or I'm listening to a podcast, or I am a part of an accelerator group, or I joined a coaching program. I am always doing something where I am learning and honing my skills, not even just my legal skills, but my business skills, because I'm not just an attorney, but I'm also a business owner. A lot of people forget that. Yes, I do the legal stuff, but I also run the business. So as a business owner, I can relate to all of the things that we all go through when it comes to doing that, how stressful it can be, how rewarding it can be, all of the things. So I make it a point to make sure that I learn everything that I can possibly learn to implement into my business and to change my mindset. Also, I've had to do a lot of that. I've had to do a lot of unlearning from just some mindsets that I've had surrounding a lot of things. One of them being money. So that's key. But yeah, I'm always listening to something, period, or reading something, so that's probably the main way that I cultivate that mindset, especially since there's not a lot of entrepreneurs in my family. So I had to kind of seek that stuff out, or people entrepreneurs around me originally when I first started my business. So I had to really be intentional about doing it, on purpose. I didn't just have a support system. So yeah, anyway.
Oh my gosh, Mariah, that was so many nuggets in one question. First of all, let's pause and talk about the fact that you said you didn't you're pretty much first generation entrepreneur, maybe second, I don't know, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Talk about just having to grasp or pursue for that information that you need in order to be successful as an entrepreneur? Talk about that struggle between the first. Just talk about that place.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, this was very interesting for me because as much as I obviously I love my family and we're actually really close. Like pretty much all members of my family for the most part, but y'all because they haven't, they don't understand, like, okay, I'll say this. And I'm gonna go a little deep too. So as a Black woman who's also an entrepreneur as well, I think within the Black community specifically, I think a lot of our generations before us have had this mindset of, and it could be for probably any culture too, but I think especially in the Black community as well, that you work for a job for 20 years, 20, 30, 40 years or whatever, and then you retire at 70 or something, and then, that's it. You know what I mean? In terms of like career. So that's what my family, was the mindset of my family. And so I, I had to really like break out of that because I kind of bought into that for a little minute. I was working in corporate and like all of that, working a real job, like not, y'all know what I mean, like a job, a 9-to-5 job, with all the benefits and everything like that. And I think that's why it took me so long to step into what I really wanted to do, which was entrepreneurship, because it was kind of instilled in me that, I needed security. I needed the job security. So something that was gonna, I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks or every month. I got the health insurance, I got retirement benefits and all of that, and I should be good. But when I got the job that I thought was my dream job in the corporate world or whatever, I did not like it. I actually really hated it. And I didn't like the work. And it was just a lot going on there. A lot of all the things in terms like micromanage just, and also, what was I gonna say? Like microaggressions. Yeah, all that. Like I experienced all that in the corporate field. So I was like, no, and I didn't like the work that I was doing, which is the most part. I didn't like that either. So I had to really do some soul searching in terms of like, what am I gonna do? So I talked to God and I was like, look, sir, we got to figure this out. But I felt like he was always pushing me to do entrepreneurship, but I kind of shut it away based off of culture, my family, all of the things. And I've come to realize that in terms of like job security and stuff like that, there's no such thing. Like we saw in the pandemic that people lost their quote, quote, stable jobs, where people working in government got laid off. You know what I mean? So it was just a matter of me stepping into what I really wanted to do. And I had to really push past that. Like I filed the paperwork for my business, but I didn't quit my job until like almost a year after. Like I didn't really start pursuing it until after, like a year after. And that just goes to show you how much like mind work I had to do surrounding like, I can do this. Like I can do this, and I'm gonna be supported. I'm gonna, God is gonna provide whatever needs to be provided, and that's gonna be that. So it was a struggle, but I think a lot of the intentional work that I did in terms of, seeking out other people who are entrepreneurs and listening to podcasts and books and being a part of programs really helped, because that helped to change my mindset on a lot of that. So, yeah.
Like the mind work. I swear. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, in the perspective of coming, like I'm a teacher, and over the summer, I know like, okay, I'm going to be at home. All right. And I really feel like God has given me a dose of full-time entrepreneurship. And it's like, you have to, like, there's nobody here to say, okay, make sure you get up and you schedule these appointments. Make sure you put out the content for the promotion of your event. Like, there's no one saying that. Like, I literally have to get up and like renew my mind. Like every day I have to renew my mind. So just talking about that mind work, and you said it took you like a year. to get to that place where you could say, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I swear, like, I feel like I'm in that place where I'm like, I'm afraid, like I already got my quit date in my mind. Me and God already talked, but I'm just like, I'm just like nervous because I'm like, this is going to be where most of my income is coming from. So that place is scary, and that mind work is important to like continue to stimulate your mind. And throughout this whole interview, you're saying like you're reading books, you are surrounding yourself around the right type of people, right? And that part is hard, just like saying, hey, I see this group of people over here, I'm familiar with them. I know them. Those are my people. But now I want to, I want more for myself. So talk about like that component when it comes to like relationships where you're like, okay, I know that you're not there and I'm there. So, talk about that balance and how you kind of have to extend those boundaries.
That's the key. The boundaries part. Oh my gosh, because to your point, so family was one thing, they're support me in what I do and stuff like that. But I think, and I want to say this too, like, I think with a lot of like family in particular, for the most part, they really do just want what's best for you. And I think they're just scared for you. They're scared for you. So they might be projecting their own fears onto you. It's not necessarily about you. It's about their own, their own thing. And like I said, especially in the Black community, we, having a stable job was like the thing that our parents and grandparents what that was their goal. That was what they wanted to aspire to do in life. Business and entrepreneurship probably wasn't really an option. There was so many barriers to that, especially within our communities, minority communities and stuff like that. So, and, I think they think that entrepreneurship has a lot of risk to it, which, I mean, yes, it does. Anything that you do has some risk. But I think they're just scared. So they're not some people, yes, might not have your best interest at heart, but they're family that really do have your best interest at heart. They might just be projecting fears and stuff, whatever, onto you. And I think that's what, kind of had been happening. But now I also had to let go of, some friends. And you were talking about in terms of people who surrounding you who just weren't where you are in life. That was a part of my journey. I had to really take an assessment around who was around me, because being a business owner, it does take a different mindset. Like you were saying, there's a different level of responsibility. There's a different level of accountability. Like you said, you don't have people waking you up and whatever the case is. It's a different level of showing up for yourself than when you have a 9-to-5 job. When you have a job, like a job that you go, you do your work and you leave. Like when you are a business owner, you have to make sure that the business runs. You have to make sure there are consistent leads. You have to sales, marketing, all of the operations, all of the things, and then also the client work and all of that. It can be stressful and all of that. So when I was doing some renewing of my mind, I realized that there were some people that not that they're bad people. I don't want to make them out to be the villain. They're not. It was just that I was at a different place in my life than they were. And with where I was going and where I am going currently, I really need some strong, secure people in my corner. I can't have people who are consistently putting doubts into my head. I'm already putting doubts into my own head. So, there's no way I can have people around me who are trying to, I don't know if y'all seen, I think it was Keke Palmer. I think she was on Instagram, and she said something about people playing devil's advocate. She was like, I don't need no devil's advocate. I don't need no devil's advocate. I am already playing devil's advocate in my head. So if you're going to be a friend of mine or a support system of me, then you just need to be supportive, in what I'm doing, and trust that I hear from God and that I know what I'm doing. And if for whatever reason I need a course correction, I welcome that humbly. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? But I'm not scared of course correction, and I'm not scared of rejection. I'm not scared of quote failure. I don't really believe in the word failure. I don't think failure is like a thing. I think you just learn. I think you just learn as you go through life. So, you know, so yeah, I did have to, you know, let go of some people around me because of that. And now, and even with that though, I feel like God also placed the like right people in my life as well. Like, yes, he removed some folks, but I also gained people as well. And so I feel like that was the blessing in all of that too. So, you know.
Yes. Oh my God, Mariah, I'm over here like, yes, speak to me, girl.
Yes.
But that part about like, it was something you said. Oh, okay. About like just when people had to, like you had to kind of let people go. There was kind of like another period where God was like opening up the door for more people to come in, right?
Yes.
And I relate to that. Like this, like last 2 years, just kind of I had that space where I'm like, I'm not okay. Like something's off. So I need to kind of like, pour into myself, see what's going on in here so that I can be effective as an entrepreneur because it's showing up in my work habits. It's showing up everywhere. All of this like trauma. So after me getting to that space of like, hey, I'm dealing with the trauma, it was like so weird. Like a lot of my longtime friends like were falling off.
Me too.
And it was like a tough place. And I was like so emotional. I think I ended up doing like, what is it called? Time management coaching, but she's actually a licensed therapist. So I got me some therapy.
All right. Yeah.
Right. And because I gave myself that space to talk about those feelings, it kind of prepared me to open up to more people. Like Mariah, me meet you at the concert, us like just linking up and going in that pit together. That was like out of my comfort zone. But I was like,
same. Okay.
I want to surround myself around people who love you like I love you so that, when I do get in a place of temptation, I got some prayer warriors like that are like, you know what, Bianca, you off, something ain't right. I'm gonna pray for you. Like we might have our issues, but I'm gonna pray for you because something is off. Like these are the types of people I need. So me being able to talk to you in that space, like just not knowing you at all, that was a huge like step out of my shell.
Okay. Girl, it's so good. Like I felt like God was low key. I feel like I've been in a place where he has been pruning my life, like my entire life, not just relationships, but just everything, like mindsets, behaviors, like all of that, so that he can make room for the next level. You know what I mean? Because the next level is going to require a different mindset. It's going to require different people around me. It's going to require different behaviors that I need to be exhibiting. It's going to require a different character from me. So, I think it's crucial. And, to not, I kind of when he dropped that in my spirit, I was like, I was like, well, I was going to submit. After a while, I was like, well, I'm just going to submit to the process because I want to make sure that whatever is for me is for me and whatever is not is not. I said, God, you can remove any person you can remove any person. And I know it might hurt because I was like you, like it kind of took the toll on me a little bit in terms of long-term friendships, like friends that I have been friends with for years that I realized, like I would do anything for them if something like, you know what I mean? They're like still people I care about, but in terms of, relying on them for, a certain level of support for the calling that God has placed on my life, that is too heavy. They don't have the capability. They don't have the space to hold that for me. And so and it's not like I said, it's not that they're bad people. It's just they don't have that space and the capacity to hold that space for me. And I need the people that can right now. So I'm not going to be relying on them for business advice. I'm not going to be relying on them. Like, I'm not going to be doing all of that. I'm like, we can shoot the breeze and be like, oh, hey, how are you doing? All that. But in terms of like some more intimate stuff, it's not something that we are fit for right now in the season. So
yes, that whole part about like, do they have the capacity to be there, like in your journey with where God wants to take you? Yeah. That's so important. And being able to come out of yourself to understand that. Because like for me on my half, it just kind of felt like, dang, I'm bitter. I'm like, I ride for you, I do this for you. Like I'm so mad. I'm so, like it got me to a space of bitterness. But I'm learning, like, as an entrepreneur, like, you had to be able to kind of like, just kind of let it go over your head and know how to network with people. TD Jakes said, like, it's people that he called to his church that he does not like, but he knows that they can deliver the word. He knows that they can deliver on what it is their calling is. So he knows, like, okay, whatever my personal issue with you is, that's fine. But this is about the kingdom. Right. And I think it's important where you just can kind of put yourself aside to say, this is about the kingdom. Yes, this is all about the kingdom. And me just going back to saying, I'm about my Father's business. Yes. It doesn't have to look like everyone else's business, because this is about the Father's business. Exactly. So just staying on that place, like in this journey, I think that's important mentally.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I'm with you. Yeah. I always tell people, like, yeah, I'm the CEO of my firm. Like, I manage it, but God is ultimately like the owner. Like, I pretty much consult God for all of any and all major and small business decisions before I do it. I pray before client consultations. I'm like, if this client is not the right client, then you need to reveal that to me so that I can refer them to somebody else. Like, I am very serious about that. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yes, Mariah. Like, okay, again, y'all, this is episode 3. And I have not only looked at the freaking question pool one time. Like, this is so good energy. Mariah, is there anything else you wanted to add on? Because I think, I feel like I've covered all the questions, but is there anything you want to add on about just self-care, the importance of self-care as an entrepreneur? Because I know a lot of the times we say self-care, and my life coach says this. She says, we say self-care, but we're really like doing things like putting makeup on, going to get our nails done. We putting Band-Aids on it, and we're not really dealing with the root issue that's causing us not to perform well. So I think if you haven't caught on self-care, this self-care series is not your typical self-care. So if there's anything you want to add on there, Mariah, just let us know. And if not, you can just close us out with all of your your tags, all that. Because when I upload this video, you'll kind of see like a QR code, and it's going to lead everyone to all of your links when they want to link up with you.
Nice. Okay. Yes, I do have some parting words. I'm glad that you said that, because I feel like self-care, I think, like you said, we think of it as, oh, I'm going to go get a massage and all of this stuff. And like, yes, some of that is a form of self-care, but really, like, gosh, I would say, especially for the business owner, 3 major things that I think that we should really focus on when it comes to self-care. One, this is something I need to work on myself, which is why I'm saying this, but like, make sure you're taking care of your body. Like, you have got, like, I think in entrepreneurship, we so busy, like we're in this like grind mode sometimes, and there's a season for that. But number one, that shouldn't be the way it is all the time. So you shouldn't be in that mode all the time. Okay. Just had to say that for somebody out there. Like, there are periods of that, and there are periods of not being in that. So make sure that you know which one you're in, and make sure you know when it's time to stop. Okay. But make sure along the way that you're make sure you're moving your body every day. You know what I mean? Don't be sitting in front of the computer. That is not, you can't serve your clients and your customers if you're in bad health. You're trying to establish wealth or whatever for your family. It means nothing if you're not going to be here to enjoy it. So make sure that you're taking care of your body. And then 2, gosh, outside of accepting Jesus as my personal Lord and Savior, the second best decision I ever made for my life was going to therapy. You need therapy. That was the main thing that really helped me, honestly, through entrepreneurship. When I was talking earlier about there was some stuff I had to unlearn, especially around money and like just and boundaries, which was going to be like my last point is making sure that making sure that you're establishing those boundaries for yourself. But yeah, going to therapy is going to really help you to unlearn things, as well as making you self-aware of your triggers and any trauma that you've had, because if you don't take care of it, it will show up in your business. Could it be that your business is not thriving because you have trauma that you haven't dealt with in the past? It's very possible. Like if you're holding unforgiveness in your heart towards people, that affects the way you run your business. Because if you're not somebody who's quick to forgive, I promise you, these clients is going to do something to offend you. These customers going to do something to offend you. And you can't just pop off like you want to pop off as a business owner. So you need to make sure that you are in therapy and learning whatever you need to learn about yourself, so that you can kind of hack yourself. If you need to put in place some guidelines, some guards, or whatever the case is, to really address those things, to kind of combat some of those things, then you need to do that. And like third, like I mentioned, like it kind of goes with therapy, because you kind of learn how to do this in therapy if you really, are into, really doing therapy, right? But setting boundaries with people, boundaries is a form of self-care. And I think that, when you really care, honestly, in any relationships that you care about in life, you're going to have to have boundaries. Otherwise you're going to have a relationship of resentment and bitterness, because you feel like your needs aren't being met, all of the things or whatever. That comes with knowing you need to learn how to, speak up for yourself when you need to speak up, and and saying, I have strong boundaries with clients. Like, you guys, right now, because it's only me like doing the legal work, I don't take unsolicited calls from clients. I tell them that if they need to call me, they need to email me and let me know about set up a scheduled time with me to talk. You're not just going to call me out the blue, because honestly, I'm the type of person too that I know me, I'm self-aware, because through therapy, I know that I like to be prepared when I go into a meeting with somebody or I'm talking with somebody. So if you randomly call me and I'm working on some client work, I'm going to be completely caught off guard, and I probably won't be prepared. So it's better for the client if I'm prepared for whatever the meeting or whatever you're trying to give me. That way I can give you the best advice that I can give you if I know upfront what you want to talk about. So that's just another thing. I have certain boundaries around when I take client meetings. I don't take client meetings on Mondays or Fridays. Like I have so many boundaries that I set, and it's for the benefit of both of us. It's for me so that I can maintain my sanity and I don't pop off on clients sometimes, because they can really work your nerves. I mean, I'm not gonna, like, they can. So if you don't establish the boundaries, you're gonna be resentment towards them, you're gonna be bitter towards them, and it's not gonna be good for them. But also it's good for them, because they get the best version of you. You want them to get the best version of you. So then you need to make sure that, you have whatever it is that, you have in place to make sure that, you're able to show up as that person. So yeah, take care of your body, go to therapy, and work on establishing and enforcing boundaries. That's something I had to work on. I can set a boundary, but sometimes it's hard for me to enforce it. Make sure you're enforcing it. Like when clients email me after business hours, I do not respond, because they know what my business hours are. Okay. They know what they are. So they'll get a response from me when business hours are operating. Right. So yeah. And where you can find me on Instagram, my firm is Legacy Street Law. Facebook, Legacy Street Law, LinkedIn, Legacy Street Law. I'm also on LinkedIn. If anybody wants to connect with me, I'm Mariah Street, ESQ on there, as my name is here. And I think that's it. Feel free to follow the firm, and maybe I will get a chance to work together if it's a good fit. So yeah.
I love it. Yes. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you're watching this as a playback, make sure you leave some comments. Let us know what resonated with you, because this was a full, fruitful, meaty interview. And thank you so much, Mariah, for taking the time to sit and talk with us and just kind of like, be homegirl, be yourself, because we need to see more of that as entrepreneurs as well. We'll see you guys on the other